My second team that I really wanted to shout out is the Florida Gators. And I didn't think we would be here. I think a lot of Florida fans are sitting here like, hey, who'd have thought? Not me. Because, look, Florida, for all intents and purposes, was dead on arrival with the beginning of this schedule. Their schedule at the beginning of the year, we were joking, do they even find 2 wins on the schedule? We had made jokes about what was going to happen to Billy Napier after that Miami game and how he was going to get treated and maybe cease to exist or whatever else. And we made so many jokes about how Billy Napier is going to be out of here. We joked early on, even like, does he go to DJ Lagway if he needs to? Like, is he going to be that desperate to go to the freshman and abandon Graham Mertz? And it hadn't exactly worked out that way, but DJ Lagway is the quarterback of your present, and he's got some stuff to be excited about. There's a lot to be excited about with DJ Lagway and the way that he can bring your team up a level. He's got spark. He's got something there. Maybe not as consistent as Graham Mertz. Maybe not going to bring you the high floor that Mertz brought you. But with Mertz being injured, you'll take Lagway. And they've had a lot of injuries for Florida, and yet, if you look at what had happened, let's go through the storyline a little bit here. Get dunked on by Miami, beat up Samford. Nobody really cared that much. And then A&M comes in there and embarrasses you in your own house. You do this weird, rotating between the quarterbacks, not really sure of yourself thing. And fans were calling for Napier's job at the half. And the post-game shows from the Florida fans were just miserable. And now, don't look now. They've won 3 of 4. And that includes a really close overtime loss to Tennessee where they had a chance to maybe go for 2 and win that one. And, they, obviously elected to just play it safe and ended up, losing because they played it safe. But I don't think a lot of people expected very much from this Florida team after they lost to A&M. I think a lot of people expect them to roll over, myself included. And now you look at them, they've got, 4 wins on the season with, not a lot of hope maybe necessarily in this last part of the season. They played Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and Florida State. So kind of a murderer's row right there. But I think there's some belief in that Florida locker room that, they can maybe string something together. I know they're looking at Ole Miss being a little bit down right now, not necessarily the Ole Miss team we thought they were. I know they're licking their chops to go beat Florida State at the end of the season. And if they can get that done, then they beat 2 of the 3 Florida teams on their schedule. And in my mind, Billy Napier saved his job.
If you can get to a bowl game, they've got to have some really tough conversations because, quite frankly, no one expected them to do that. And he's doing it what would be with a freshman quarterback at that point. He's going to beat Florida State. I feel very confident in saying that at this point. I'm struggling to find the other win, though, because it's Georgia and Jacksonville at Texas, LSU and Ole Miss at home, and no bye weeks in between. So, I think they're going to be in every single one of those games at some point. I think they're going to be competitive games. Ole Miss, maybe you circle that one, but if you lose 3 in a row, how much trust do you have in the locker room and how well are they getting up for that one? I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out down the stretch, but this is the stretch of the schedule that we were circling preseason of saying, ooh, that's absolutely brutal.
See, but we also looked at teams like Kentucky and UCF and didn't give them a whole lot of a chance in those games either.
That's true.
They figured it out. If they go 5-7, does Billy Napier still have a job? I think he does.
No, 5-7 is not going to be good enough.
I mean, look, if we
right or wrong, I think that schedule lends itself to 5-7. I think their Vegas over under, I can't remember now. I have it down in a spreadsheet somewhere, but I think it was either 5.5 or 4.5. So 5-7, not out of the question based on that, but from the standard of Florida and what Florida thinks of itself, not saying they're wrong, by the way.
Right.
5-7 is not going to.
Well, and the other question is Kiffin's availability. Obviously, a lot of people looking at Lane Kiffin as possible next Florida coach.
I think that would be the stupidest move they could possibly make.
And it sure might be. I think that would be a bit of a mistake, but I know that if that's what they want to do, then it may not matter if he pulls off one of those. He could go beat Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss and then followed up with beating up Florida State, and they'd still probably opt for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I don't think Kiffin's doing himself many favors right now. I think if he was opting for a big job, especially complaining about 11 a.m. kickoffs like he was today when you can't beat the 15th place team in the SEC at home, Not going to get a lot of love from potential suitors there.
Gracious, yep.